Oh my God. Hi. Welcome. Oh, you made it. I'm so glad you made it. Hey, this is just a little bit of what you missed last week.
What do you want? You want toothbrush heads, razors, dildos?
And now coming up on this episode of Real Garbage, we talk about setting up your lasers the right way in your evil lab. Why just one laser at first and then another laser?
And then
the laser
Because it's
moves?
2002, man.
Jeff talks about dealing with zombies. Anyone who looks sickly, looks like they might have blood on them, I'm not going to rush right up to their face and be like,
No.
How are you doing? Are you okay? And JP got pumped for this one.
I'm drinking a monster to this movie. You know what I mean? Like,
That's all coming up on this episode of Real Garbage. But first is a quick word from our fake sponsors.
This episode of Real Garbage is brought to you by drinking 750 mils of eggnog. I didn't learn. I did.
This episode of Real Garbage is also brought to you by the vaccine, brought to you by the Umbrella Corporation.
this episode of Real Garbage is brought to you by JP versus the World. That's my podcast. Long form interviews. And it's also brought to you by Disney, Amazon, Netflix, Facebook,
Google,
Yeah.
Tinder,
Yeah.
Hinge.
Bumble.
Look at the long-range space forecast. We can see some precipitation, about 7 inches in Uranus.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And if we've no place to go, then oh my God! Real All right, we're in.
Yeah.
I went too hard last time. I was like, no, just gonna keep it simple. That's how we used to start.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what's up?
Hey.
Let's start out where we want. It's our show.
Yeah.
We could do whatever we want.
Welcome, JP.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
JP versus Real Garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oof.
JP,
Episode title.
JP Meldrum?
Yeah, that's
Meldrum.
right.
I was
Meldrum.
saying when you got here, I was like, you should have named your podcast JP Meldrumatic and just reviewed sad music
Or
like
soap operas.
Billie
Yes.
Eilish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like the number one podcast for a while? It was just two guys reviewing Gilmore Girls. It was the number one podcast in the world for like, it might still be.
What was it called? Was it called Gilmore Boys?
Might have been. I honestly don't know. I just heard someone told me that once. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls?
Okay.
Interesting.
I've never seen Gilmore Girls.
Me either. Although I do know someone in there is named Rory, Lorelai, and Luke. That's it.
I
Okay.
will admit I've watched a lot of it. I dated this girl back in 2008 who loved it. And I was like, you know what? The show's actually not that bad.
Really?
I understand why they like reviewing it. Because it's the two main characters. The one, I think she was the chick from Bad Santa. The one that was banging Santa.
Okay.
And she was the main character. And then there was like a young girl who was like her daughter.
Yeah, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Girl.
Yeah.
That's how I know her.
What were the traveling pants? I don't understand.
It was a pair of jeans that magically fit Blake Lively, America Ferrera, Alexis Bledel, which is Gilmore Girls' person, and the other chick. And they're all like different heights and different weights, and these jeans that they found magically fit these four best friends. So they vowed to, over the summer, take these jeans with them, have their adventures, and then mail them to the next girl and do the whole rotation over the summer.
Oh, so they traded off the pants. Like,
Yeah.
You get it for a week.
How do you
get it for a
discover
week.
that for the first time? Is that something that teenage girls do? Like,
Try on the same pants?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that is-
100%.
okay.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
can't say I've ever been like,
Hey, you want to try
hey,
this
bro,
shirt on?
yeah. No.
I can guarantee you, though, that a pair of jeans would not have fit those four body types.
Yeah.
Or, like, girls do share clothes all the time, but if you're not the same size, then you don't.
Brotherhood of the Traveling Beer or something?
Yeah.
The Brotherhood of the Traveling
Jock.
Tank Top.
Yeah.
Jock strap. Dude, try on these underwear. They make your dick huge.
Yeah. Whoa!
They fit the contour of my balls perfectly.
I could see there being a timeline where I would have shared some magic boxers for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if they did wonders, if they made everything look bigger, why not?
Why not?
I wonder if that's got to be a story. That has to be a story or a movie.
It's probably a porn.
Yeah.
The Brotherhood of the Magical
Traveling
Dildo.
box.
Traveling
Yeah.
dildo.
The traveling.
Yeah.
You just mail it around. You're like, this is the best lay I've ever had.
You might want to clean it. Just
Yeah.
clean it.
Yeah. Brotherhood of the Traveling Pocket Pussy.
From the director that brought you films like Bros for Life and Bro Down comes the smash hit of the summer, The Brotherhood of the Traveling Pocket Pussy.
I'm done with this. It's your turn.
Oh, bro. Thank you so much. Wait, did you come inside this thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You gotta pull out, bro! Pull out!
The Brotherhood of the Traveling Pocket Pussy. Coming up after Real Garbage.
On the WB! It sounds like there's something in it.
Oh, God. My fucking eggnog's going to come up.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I can't imagine eggnog looks good coming back up.
We might find out later tonight. I'll let you know.
I have a feeling it looks the same.
Yeah, it would
Which
probably
would not look
the
good
same.
in that context, you know?
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Just mixed with your stomach acid.
Exorcist style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is bile-esque already, if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's already that like yellowy color.
Yeah.
Well, we figured out what it was one episode. We were doing Troll
We
2, I think.
Googled eggnog. It's eggs. We never figured out what nog was.
Nog.
Eggs, heavy cream,
What if it's an acronym?
It
I
is
don't
the
know.
nog.
nog, nutmeg, cloves,
With the
yeah,
capital
yeah.
O, yeah.
Oak,
And-
the oak cloves.
and
Nutmeg, oak cloves, and
I don't know what the G would be.
geese.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because sugar.
grease.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to talk about Resident Evil?
Yeah.
I was
certainly do.
trying to think of.
Segues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last time I'm like, I just said something silly. It was like, I guess that worked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this sounded so stupid. I'm like, let's just talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Well, this, okay. You'd never seen it?
Nope.
I vaguely remember the laser scene. Like you said, that's the scene that everybody remembers.
Yeah. That's the best scene.
Yeah, the one good
Second
scene.
best scene.
It wasn't good at all.
No.
Did you ever play like the game though?
No.
The original game? You played
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah, a little bit, but not enough to,
I played-
I'm film first.
We've discussed this.
no doubt.
This was in 2002. I was 7.
Yeah, I was also 7.
So
in
I was
2002.
playing the little like SpongeBob game where you plugged it into your computer and you used his face had a nose and his eyes were buttons and joysticks. And then I graduated to the Catwoman game.
Oh yes.
And then I got into like World of Warcraft and
Then it was it. That was
I
it.
was just
That was
Sonic
it.
through and through.
my soul left my body.
It's always been Sonic. Nothing else for me really.
Really?
I'm wearing a Sonic shirt. right
Really?
now. Yeah. I
Nice.
hide my power level.
Brotherhood of the Traveling Sonic.
Sonic shirt?
Yeah. I just bought for Black Friday. I bought myself a Christmas gift, and I bought Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and I've been playing that.
Ooh. That's just the side scrolling. You can get up to 4 players playing it? Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not on the Switch Lite, but regular Switch. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing that, and I bought this horror game that I haven't played, but it looks like it would be a better horror than this.
I just installed Doom Eternal on my desktop this evening.
Oh.
I played for about 10 minutes. I was like, this is badass.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. But the original Resident Evil was revolved around a house, like a mansion, a super spooky mansion where there were maybe like, I don't know, a couple dozen zombies. And you were Claire Redfield. You were in there. Oh, you were Claire or you were like another guy. And you just had to make your way through this house, and it was terrifying. And this movie adaptation was like the farthest thing from terrifying. It was weak.
Yeah. It starts kind of strong, I would say, like from the get-go, because you have the cheesy early 2000s, like, what's the Umbrella Corp? It's evil. It's Walmart or whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, is that all I need to know? And it has that slow pan in, which was kind of fun. I listened to the commentary I come prepared. But in the commentary, the very first thing is everyone being like, "That's a really good shot, Paul Anderson. Way to go!" He's like, "Yeah, it's one of my favorite shots in the movie." And I'm like, "Really? You just zoomed in, man." And yeah, I don't know. I thought it had some scariness though. At the beginning.
Well, it was foreboding, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Before we get right into it, would you like to tell the realtors, we're calling them now, the listeners and viewers, what Resident Evil is in a nutshell?
Sure. Yeah. The Resident Evil, the film, is the first film in a series of 6 movies. 6? Mm-hmm. I've seen them all. I can't remember how many there are, if that says anything. I watched this movie probably 2.5 years ago, and I really liked it. But it centers around Milla Jovovich's character, whose name I don't remember her name.
Alice.
I had to look it up.
Her name is Alice. Oh yeah, like Alice in Wonderland or something,
Alice?
right?
That's
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
that's the
Implication.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were gonna
Implication.
Because of the implication.
tie in more Alice in Wonderland elements, but they scrapped it all.
Oh.
But that's why there's like the Red Queen.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the hive is Wonderland then, sort
Yeah.
of? Okay.
And there was the guy that was like monitoring the time all the time is supposed to be like the White Rabbit.
Whoa, they might have had a good movie inside of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean,
I
this
never
movie
made
is
any
just
of those connections.
it's so OOs, and that's all you really need to know. It's in the ilk of your Daredevils with that, like, it's Marilyn Manson did the score to this movie.
Yeah.
And you can tell, man, it's that industrial, like, post-Matrix, like
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dudes rock, like, you know.
This is a video game. We're going to kill zombies.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, the movie, there's a virus, and, you know, these people are trying to, I don't fucking remember the plot. Dude.
Like contain.
I watched this twice this week. I don't remember the plot.
There was a point where I said to myself, why did they even go in?
Yeah.
Because this Red Queen computer AI was already going to shut itself down and close the hive up anyway, because there was a toxic release of the T virus. So why they never really explained why the team went in
I know.
to do anything, like, because they weren't like, we came to get the T virus out. They didn't say that.
Yeah.
They didn't say we came to contain it. They're just there.
Yeah.
They're just there.
And most of them, spoilers, die
Yeah.
at the 32-minute mark of the movie. I wrote that down. I was like, it's a slasher movie for 1 minute.
Yeah.
You know?
It's nothing but jump scares too.
Yeah.
Like,
An
I don't know.
attempted jump scare.
Attempted. Oh, they lean into them too much where you're like, oh, you're about to scare me, aren't you, Paul W.S. Anderson?
Paul W.S. Anderson. You were making a point about his name.
Yeah, his name's
unfortunate
legendary.
name.
I love this guy. He did the Mortal Kombat movies.
Oh.
He did
Yeah.
the Alien versus Predator movies.
The Mortal Kombat reference makes sense because Reptile and that monster that was in this look very similar.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like the AVP. If you ever watch those movies?
Oh yes,
We
reviewed
reviewed
one.
Oh,
it.
you did one of them. Did you do the
Yep.
first one or the second one?
The first one.
First one.
Okay, I don't remember. It's the same as this movie. I don't remember what happened. There's an alien. There's a predator.
The-
There's like 2 human characters, and they both die by the end of it. And
Was the guy the leader of this SWAT team in AVP?
I don't
The black
know.
dude?
Oh.
I feel like he was. He's got that
that's
voice,
where
that very
yeah.
unique
yeah,
voice. He's
I
just
recognized
younger
his
in
voice.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
Gosh, I'm like, man, I feel like he was in something we
Yeah,
watched
he was.
recently.
He was the guy who came with guns, and after things went to hell, he was like, "All right, let's go."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, he had an accent in that one too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one starts off. We've got somebody stealing the T virus. You see, that the great shot, the best shot in the whole
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Is this robotic arms being controlled, loading up a case full of what we find out later is the T virus and the antidote, and then the person who's stealing it chucks the T virus against the counter and it breaks, and that's when everything starts. That's when I wrote down mayhem begins.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I just wrote down COVID.
Yeah, truly.
yeah, because a lot of people are like, man, there's nothing going on. It's fine. It's a fire drill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, the one like lab technician just yelling, just no fire.
Yeah, there's
no fire.
There's already a foot and a half of water on the ground.
There's no fire here! No fire!
And she delivers it for like 45 seconds straight.
There's no fire here! No fire!
The code doesn't work!
No fire! What's wrong with you?
You know, that was so like I was like, oh yeah, they don't care about acting in this movie.
Yeah.
But that's kind
No.
of good. They get it out so early. You're like, oh, this isn't a movie about acting.
It's about a premise and monsters.
It really is though. It's like, look how hot my girlfriend is what the movie is.
Yeah.
Okay, for context, Paul W.S. Anderson listeners here is married to Milla Jovovich, and I
learned
think
that
they
tonight.
were dating at the time of this film? If not,
They started dating because they met on this film.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And she had done The Fifth Element was 5 years before this too,
Yeah.
right? Which was a great movie.
Yeah.
She didn't speak a lot of English in that one. Until she learned.
When we first see her in this movie and she's like naked, and all I was thinking of was multipass.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Lilo does multipass. She knows it's a multipass.
Yeah.
So yeah, the everything starts going crazy. The computer. This is what I found annoying about this whole computer AI security system was the T virus breaks and minutes go by. Whoever this person is, we won't reveal it yet, gets a couple floors up, knocks buddy's coffee onto himself, and then a couple minutes later, the camera in the lab's like, and then it starts recording, and it's like, virus detected.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you notice that the second that it broke?
Yeah, why weren't there any sort of like protocols put into place? Or they have the whole thing sharing a ventilation system, and this virus is like airborne. So you'd think they'd have little alarms for if it immediately got out, like the failsafe would be shutting the fucking vents.
No, there's nothing.
I think they actually say that later in the movie. They say our only protocol in place was to lock it down and have everyone die, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say?
But why
It's not a
wouldn't-
great system for a
Yeah,
high-tech
like-
laboratory.
So we got this really deadly virus, and
Yeah.
how are you guys going to contain it? Oh, we're not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
If it gets out, we all die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
gonna
all
close
screwed.
the outer walls. Why would you make a closing for the lab? No, we're not going to do that.
No.
Why would we do that? Because it gets everywhere. The dogs start breathing it in, and then like people walk back into the lab that's like has the
Yeah.
virus, and they're like, oh, just going back to their jobs. And that's when the computer's like, it's almost like the AI was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be paying attention
Yeah.
to something. There's a virus.
Well, also the AI was a child.
Yeah.
Like its hologram was a child.
The daughter of
in the
the
later
creator?
films, we learn a little more about that, though.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to spoil it.
Why not?
Why am I not going to spoil it?
Yeah.
Well, what if I come back and I do the second one?
We could do all 6.
That's true.
We got a few
Yeah.
people on the lists for the series, the franchise.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my franchise.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
I'm reserving it.
Yeah. I'm talking like I hate this movie, but I like it a lot. But today I didn't. You know? Today I just couldn't
Yeah.
do it. I couldn't stomach it. Yeah.
Well, you said you checked the clock a few times.
I checked the clock 3
as did
times.
I.
Yeah.
I did too.
It was towards the middle was when it just like when it goes full action movie, it just goes to hell.
It's silly.
It's silly.
Mm-hmm.
over the
It's
top
not
silly.
scary. The action's not very good.
No.
It's really like loud,
Yeah.
you know, and like in a way that's just like I'm like fuck off. Like
Well, it was like it's like a video game, but a video game you couldn't play, and a video game that you're just yelling at the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
come on!
It felt like a video game in the worst possible way. Like when you went into an old arcade and one of the games is just too loud and you're trying to play and it's like and you're like, fuck, I'm not even playing it and I'm getting pissed off.
That game was Sonic Blast Man. I remember this. It had a stand. It was a full-on like 12
This is
foot long
real?
machine.
Sonic
This is
Blast
real.
Man
This
was what it was called?
Real.
Wow.
Big ass screen at the end, and it had like this arm that would with a pad on it.
Yeah.
And I remember watching my buddy's brother and his friends. They were all big dudes because you had to punch it. And the character, the big like Sonic Blast Man character on the screen,
it's
would
got nothing to do with
punch
not
a-
this guy, right? Not
No,
this
no,
guy.
no.
Okay.
He's like a giant kind of mech robot type thing.
Yeah, my
He
Sonic would never punch anything.
might. He
No,
was
not
punching
my
a-
Sonic,
He
man.
was punching a building, and you had to you only got 3 punches. You had to try to punch a building down, and the building got stronger and stronger. And I remember these guys just rocking this machine, and it was so loud. Like the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
would just, and then and the dude would be screaming on the screen. You're like, what is this?
That sounds awesome.
Games back, the arcade games back in the day were awesome.
That sounds tight.
For me, it was
Wow.
Dance Dance game. That was so loud. Them just kids just fucking jumping on the
gonna
metal.
break the game.
Yeah. Triple score! Go, 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 go!
People
So-
get really into that one, the DDR. I've been to
Very.
the local anime convention, and they set up little like stations of it, and it's like it smells horrible, but these kids can rip. Yeah.
There was a guy in the West Ed Mall. He must have been about 20. You ever hear this guy?
Yes.
Wore the headband,
Face with my stomping
elbow
ground.
bands, like he'd have his like full dance gear on, and he would just play that nonstop.
For hours, yeah.
This guy, dude was crazy.
That was when West Ed had the dragon.
Oh yeah.
And I
remember that.
miss that thing. When they took it away, that sucked.
Would wake up every now and then, start breathing
Yeah,
smoke.
breathe fire.
There was a dragon there?
Yeah, there was a dragon in the West End
Like a real
movie
dragon?
theater.
At the- yeah.
It was this giant animatronic, and every half hour or hour on the hour, it woke up and put on a 15-minute show, and then ended with it like blowing
it was pretty
fire.
cool.
Was it like related to any was it marketing something?
I want to say Rain of Fire was around that time. Like,
Okay.
it was like 2000. I think that was 2000.
Not Shrek.
No, but it lasted for years. I think they only took it away like maybe 5 years ago or something.
I hope it's in a happy home.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I want to
it
know
went
where
out
it
to the
is.
farm or
Well,
whatever.
it
Somebody's basement in pieces.
I
Yeah.
think the animatronic is still there. They just don't do it's like dormant all the time. So it's
Right.
just like
So yeah, we meet Milla after all the shit goes on. Lady gets decapitated in the elevator
Oh,
because they're all
yeah.
trying to escape. Milla wakes up in a shower, doesn't know how she got there. She's like, "There's a red dress sitting there
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
conveniently with shorts built in."
yeah, it was more like a weird romper.
And they never explained who set it out for her.
Nope.
Why it was there. It just seemed super convenient. I guess maybe she set it up for herself. Do you do that? Do you set your clothes out on your bed before you?
No, I
Mila might.
tried. I tried doing that, and I would wake. I'm the type of person where if I'm in the mood to do something or wear something, I have to do it like at that time because I guarantee I'm not going to be in the mood for it later. So I tried setting out clothes a long time ago, and I'd wake up in the morning and I'd look at the outfit I picked out, and I'm like, I don't want to wear that.
Well, I just mean like,
The fuck?
like before you hop in the shower, you're like, I'm going to wear this. You lay it on your bed, then you go for a
Nope.
shower.
No, I don't
okay.
do that. No, I improvise.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
yeah, I'll wear this.
The only thing I do is I turn on the heater in my bathroom, and I take my robe and I drape it over the towel rack above my heater, and I toast my robe up.
Toasted
That's what I
robe.
do. I lay out my robe.
I can get behind that. That's like comfy, like
Yeah,
artistry.
like when you pick a fluffy towel out of the dryer and
Yeah.
it's still hot.
That's not novice comfort.
No,
that's advanced comfort.
supreme.
You're
Yeah.
folding fresh laundry, and you're like, I'm going to put this sweater on right now.
Yeah. And you hear that crackling of the static, and you're like, ah, yes.
Yeah. This episode is brought
people.
to you by Advanced Comfort.
Advanced comfort.
Yeah.
So this is where she's walking around the mansion, checking shit out. And I didn't realize till later. I'm like, why are they in a mansion?
Yeah.
And then you learn, okay, yeah, the hive's underground. All right, okay, that makes sense. And the SWAT team just busts in. Mm-hmm. And they grab her, no explanation. They take her, where do they take her immediately? Take her somewhere.
To
Oh, yeah. There's a cop that breaks in as well. He's just
Oh,
there and like grabs her, and then the SWAT team comes in and they're like arresting them both, and the cop just keeps yelling, "I'm a cop!"
yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment where I wrote it down too. Man, I was like, this movie doesn't care about acting. Nope. Let's go.
He just kept screaming like, "You guys don't know what you're doing!
Yeah.
I'm a cop!"
I like to think everyone in this movie was like 3 glasses of Chardonnay deep, you know?
Funny you say that, because at the last day of filming, I don't know what scene they filmed, but I think it was implied that it was chronological. So the last day of filming, it was one of the producer film people's birthdays, and they broke out a bunch of champagne.
I read this too.
And and the director was like, fuck, everyone's going to be hammered. And they're like, no, we won't, we promise. But sure enough, everyone was drunk filming like the last scene.
That's probably when they did the commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
They
Milla
said
Jovovich
that
was
that fun
drunk.
fact comes from the commentary, actually. I remember that from the commentary. Yeah. They were drunk doing the commentary. Michelle Rodriguez can't stop like mispronouncing Milla Jovovich's name. And Milla Jovovich like is like obsessed with her being good looking in the movie. That's the whole commentary.
Wait, what? Milla Jovovich is obsessed with herself?
Yeah, she's just like, look, you can see my nipple there. Haha. Like, and she says, if this movie is successful, I will get breast enhancement surgery for the next movie.
But I don't think she did.
She did not.
Because it only
No.
got 35%.
Yeah.
It got the highest rated one of all 6 is 37%.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big oof.
This is where we meet Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes,
who,
Rain.
Yeah, we didn't get any names until
No,
later on.
I had to look up all their names and assign them.
That's when I started calling her Rain Rodriguez.
Rain.
I was like, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So they take them to the train because they're going to go back into the hive. And they kept using that 3D map shot. They're like, oh,
I
look,
love the 3D
let's-
map.
It's so cheesy.
0 zeros, man. Like, let's go. The aughts.
So they're going down the train. This is where they basically just get all the expo. It's
Yep.
like, oh, this is the Hive. The Hive is a place where they test stuff. It's connected to this mansion. This train takes us between both. It's above Raccoon City. I'm like, all right. Well,
This is when I open up Twitter. It's like, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is.
Yeah.
Oh, 3D map?
I just
Oh.
have to listen. Awesome. You get very easily distracted watching this movie and you're not missing anything.
Yeah, for real, man.
And they start talking about, oh, you got gassed, so you got memory loss. And they jiggle open a door and out falls her husband or her forced husband
Yeah.
from the, umbrella, like basically arranged the marriage for them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which seemed odd. I don't understand why they did that.
This movie actually has a lot of like lore that they just kind of go, yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like, I don't know. I was like, there definitely will be sequels, and there are.
Well, I feel like
You know what I
were we
mean?
supposed to watch play the game first and maybe play Resident Evil 2 and 3 and then watch this movie? Kind of felt like that. Like you needed to get all that information before you watch this.
Yeah.
You know what this movie reminds me of? You having said that, the same discussion we had talking about the Warcraft movie. It was a movie made specifically for the fans.
I saw that in the theaters.
Same, I loved it. But that's
yeah.
because I knew what was going
Yeah, that's
on.
what my buddy recommended it to me and my roommate at the time. And me and my roommate watched a lot of movies together. And we were like, oh, it's the kind of buddy who's like, this movie's secretly good.
Yeah.
And usually I'm like, all right, he's often right. He was wrong about Warcraft in my eyes.
I tried watching it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's like a horrible episode of Game of Thrones meets The Incredible Hulk.
It wasn't good.
Yeah,
I will admit that. Did I enjoy watching it? Yes. Did I enjoy seeing Ogrimmar and Duratan and Blackhand come to life? You bet your bottom dollar I did. Was Corona disappointing?
I don't know any of
Yes.
that.
No, I don't.
But no, this is what I'm saying is like I feel like this movie was also dedicated to its video game fan base, and if you didn't play the games, then fuck you.
See,
We don't care if you understand.
I played them all, and I'm still going like, I know.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I know Raccoon City, because this is before Raccoon City.
Oh,
And
okay,
like
never
the opening, the first game is based in a mansion in Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, this T virus broke out and all these people disappeared and died and we don't know why. And it's like, oh, they're turning into zombies. I get it. So yeah, it just seemed like, I don't know. It was kind of one of those movies where it's like, if you like watching stuff blow up and things get
Michael
shot.
Bay.
But yeah.
See, I'm trying to be an early adopter of the aughts nostalgia. That's why I like this movie. You know what I mean?
The aughts.
The odd, like the OOs,
Oh,
the
okay.
2000s.
Is that what you call them? The aughts?
The aughts,
The
yeah,
aughts?
yeah.
Aughts?
The aughts. That's what people say. I googled
I think
it.
that's
I googled
what you
this.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say the aughts, it makes me think of R0, which is like
Aughts.
the contagion level of a virus.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, so fun fact.
Please.
The common cold and the flu have R0s of 1, meaning if I have the flu, I will infect one person. It's 1 to 1. Whereas COVID has an R0. When it started, it had an R0 of 3, meaning you would infect 3 people. Now I think its R0 is 5 because it's more out of control. So, so every time you were saying aughts, I was thinking R0, and I was like, what is this new virus measurement?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just realized there is a reason they're going in there. They're taking an EMP into the Hive. The
Is that an
bomb.
explosive? Yeah.
The electromagnetic pulse bomb. That's what they were doing. They had it over their shoulder because she's like, "What is that?" And he goes, "Oh, this is it creates a giant magnetic pulse. We're taking it to the heart of
blow it all up?
the Red Queen, so to shut it down."
But they
But
get that
wasn't
done
she-
early in the movie, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, they start the bomb, and then that's the laser scene is next because they're like, all we gotta do is take it from here into that room, and that's where we set it off, and we're done. So they like arm it, and I wrote down like, why didn't you leave and then set it off? You have a detonator in your hand.
Setting it up and then taking it to where it needs to be is just so stupid.
Because they have to go through a room that's full of lasers.
Yeah.
Because they get in there and it's like all of a sudden
The
it's like,
sweetest
oh,
room in fucking film history.
Yeah.
it's
it's so sick.
why just one laser at first and then another laser
And
then the
then
laser
Because it's
moves.
2002, man.
Well, I was waiting for you to say something about the CGI in this. 'Cause
I
it's
was about to.
2002 and Jurassic Park came out in 93.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have, for any other episode, I have a scale between Jurassic Park and Avatar. If your movie came out in between 1993 and 2010, and its effects are not as good as Jurassic Park's or Avatar's, you have failed as a movie maker because there's no excuse.
Would you say that this one fails?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If
Those
you
poor
can,
VFX artists.
if you can look at the liquor and think, yes, that's as believable as the Brachiosaurus head coming up and poking out through a tree and sneezing, you're fooling yourself.
They Milla Jovovich, I'm saying her name wrong, but it's probably fine.
Correct
I always
us.
say Milla Jovovich.
Jovovich. Yeah. It's just, it sounds like a tennis player name.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
I think there is a tennis player with a similar name. I don't know.
Djokovic.
Djokovic. Yeah, that's
Whoa.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Controversial guy, as far as I know.
Is he?
I remember the first name.
I know
Bill.
it too. No.
Bill.
No.
Bill Djokovic.
Yeah.
William.
What was I saying? I'm sorry.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, in the commentary, Milla Jovovich actually says, she's like, Paul, I think in 10 years this movie's gonna look like shit.
It did.
Yeah.
2
and then
years.
he's like,
He's like in 2002.
he's like, you have no much idea how much work it takes
Oh,
for these
God.
poor artists. One frame takes 48 hours to render.
Okay, another thing, speaking of rendering, Lord of the Rings, 2001, 2002, 2003. If you went to a theater and you saw this, and then you also saw Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, and you saw Gollum, they rendered the fuck out of that. So why couldn't they, you need those guys employed who were working on Lord of the Rings,
Weta or whatever they were
and
called,
you
right?
need to fire the ones that were working on Resident Evil.
Yeah. I think they didn't care.
Probably
from the
not.
commentary, I don't think they cared. I think that Paul W.S. Anderson is just he's like a guy who knows he's not that good at making movies, but he can finish them. You know what I mean? I kind of like that, where he's like, I do what I do, and I do it all right.
I guess
Yeah.
if it makes money.
Yeah.
I don't know if they made money.
Did
off
it?
this,
I
but
think
don't
they're
know. Look at the
really
numbers.
popular in other parts of the world.
Yeah, another Warcraft situation. It bombed in North America,
Yeah.
but it did insanely well in China.
Yeah.
And
These movies scream like they would be popular, and I think they're really popular in
Europe.
Japan.
yeah,
We tend to forget there is
there is
a
more to
world
the world.
outside of Canada.
I bet these
Yeah.
movies did really well on cable too. I have a feeling Resident Evil is the kind of movie that people would
You put it
happily
on
watch
TV.
on Spike or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, Spike
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
So this is where we get our first taste of the zombies because they shut it down right after your buddy gets completely
Eviscerated.
turned into little cubes.
Yeah.
And we see the first zombie, and I loved how Rain Riguez just goes right up to her. She's like, "Hey, we got a survivor."
Yeah.
Anyone who looks sickly, look
I'd
like
be
they might
like,
have
"Get the
blood on them,
fuck
I'm not
outta
going to
here."
rush right up to their face, be like,
No.
"How are you doing? Are you okay?"
Especially when you've been tasked to go into the center of this place and destroy it because something happened. Regardless of whether you know the virus, if you were you need to go and destroy this place, and someone came out and was looking sick, I wouldn't be like, "Are you okay?"
She gets in close enough to get bit on the neck.
No, on the hand.
Yeah, that's right. She puts her hand. She's like, "Oh, are you okay?"
This part of the hand is kind of the neck of the hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
Got
meaty
bit
little.
right in the hand.
Blech.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So yeah, we get our first taste of the zombies here. Well, would you?
It's
call
like
them?
it's a fucking zombie movie, but
Zoomies.
it constantly forgets it's a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, this is like a kind of sexy, color corrected, horror action movie. But then it's like, oh yeah, there's zombies, and then it becomes a Doom movie, not a Resident Evil movie, which we talked about earlier. But
Well, we didn't even see that zombie till 38 minutes in.
38 minutes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And hold on, what happens after that?
A whole lot of nothing.
Truly.
Because this is where because they start running away. They're like, "We got to get out of here," and that's when we see a bunch of zombies, and they're like, "We're surrounded." Because it was a very dramatic, overly dramatic, cut to a close up, cut to this as she's
Yeah.
walking through. It's like,
Yeah.
And then paired with the Marilyn Manson score, it was
Hell
too
yeah.
much.
I'm disappointed knowing that it was him that did that because
Yeah.
it just seemed so cheesy.
I like the
Yeah.
score. I wrote down that the score was better than I remembered. Actually, it's so appropriate.
It's better than the movie. It definitely
Yeah.
fits being a video game. That's video game music.
It was just too much though. They had to tone
Yeah.
it down a little bit. Maybe used the heavy songs a little less frequently.
yeah.
It
I
would
love
have
it.
been a little better.
I love it. It's like, yeah, It's so. I'm drinking a monster to this movie. You know what I mean? Like
I felt like everywhere they
Yeah.
walked, they were like walking to the ring in WWF.
Yeah.
No.
and I'm thumb gunning diet monsters, man.
But they get surrounded
yeah.
by zombies. It's like none of them at this point have ever seen a zombie movie in their life.
No.
Because nobody's aiming for the heads. Like, oh,
I
these people look
know.
like
I love-
they're dead. Oh, let's shoot them
Yeah.
in the shoulders and the legs and the chest. Like, they won't go down.
I love too. They kind of ignore like all zombie movies. Always at some point, they figure out the rules of killing them. This movie doesn't really worry about that at all.
No.
At some point, they do. They talk to the Red Queen, and she's like, you have to sever the spinal
Oh, yeah.
column and blah, 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 blah.
I was on Instagram at that point. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Why did the Red Queen kid have to be English?
I
This
know.
is scary. I wrote
What
it down.
is-
I'm like, The Shining.
Yeah.
Wait, those kids aren't even British, are they?
British?
No, I think they are.
I watched it recently too.
The Shining? Those,
Yeah.
those two little girls?
Yeah.
Do they even talk?
Yeah.
Don't they talk in tandem?
Yeah,
it's like,
they're like,
ah.
Come on.
I feel like that's the original scary British kid.
British?
Yeah,
Yeah.
British kids are always like villainized or made to be like scary or the bad guys.
Yeah.
Always.
During this fight, they still got buddy Matt. It was like one of the only names we got. Matt
Yeah.
is handcuffed the whole time because he was the cop.
Yeah.
They got the
I forgot.
cop
I was like, why is this guy in
handcuffed.
handcuffs?
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they kept him in the handcuffs.
I know that whole time.
Because he hasn't shown himself to be a threat at all. And these guys have guns and they're military trained, and he is a police officer. They've
Yeah.
seen his ID. They're like, yeah, we'll keep the cuffs on him. And then he eventually manages to get the cuffs from Rodriguez, and he like loses them, grabs them again, drops them through a grate. And was this grate just like covering a hole like this deep?
I think
Because
so.
he's like reaching for him. He's reaching. There's a shot of his fingers going in there, and all of a sudden he's like, "Yep," and he gets him. I'm like,
Yeah.
What was the point of that grate? It's just a drip tray this
Yeah.
this deep. It just catches a little bit of water and takes it away. But yeah, he escapes, gets lit on fire, escapes, kicks the zombie out of the way. And then JD dies at this point because they open up a door and he's like, oh, let's go this way. Like, and again, not paying attention to
Oh
anything.
yeah. I like this scene. Yeah.
looking away. He's like, I got the door open, guys. Ah!
And Michelle Rodriguez just goes for him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you already got bit.
Yeah, like what do you and also why is it I've never seen in a movie it take someone this long to succumb to a zombie bite and
Oh,
turn
yeah.
into a zombie.
She's unbeatable.
It
Yeah.
basically took at that point like 2 hours. Like
Yeah.
a full 2 hours because they started the clock at 2:49 or something they had till it was going to shut down when they went into the hive. And then leaving, they still had 8
It's also
minutes to
how
spare at
long
the
it
end.
felt.
Yeah.
At one point, they're like, "Oh, we only have this much time left." I'm like, "God, is there that much left in this movie?" And I looked, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, thank God."
Although it's got long credits. This movie, I was very
it was
happy
about
about
9
that.
minutes or
Yeah,
so.
I was like,
yes.
nice. Yeah, that's
It
always
says
a
hour
good
40,
feeling.
but it's only an hour 30.
Yeah.
That was like I was telling you about that Survive the Night one we reviewed, where it was an hour and 41 minutes long or something like that. And I'm like, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10 because at least there's going to be about 10 minutes of credits. No, there was
Nope.
like 3 minutes of credits. I was like,
Ugh.
you get a 0. Stupid movie.
Hell, just held you hostage.
Wait, am I supposed to have a score at the end of this, right?
Oh, yeah. A real rating.
Okay. I use Letterboxd to have a Letterboxd score of it, so.
What is Letterboxd score?
Letterboxd is a social media platform for watching movies, essentially.
Oh.
So it's like you have like a diary and a watch list and everything, and you log all the movies you watch, and you can see what your friends watch. I'm a huge fan of it.
Well, you mentioned that, and I'll be
Whoa.
honest, I didn't understand what you're talking about. You're
Okay,
like, I'll
yeah.
give you a letterbox list or something.
Yeah, so
and I
it's
was
like,
cool.
people make lists and stuff on there too. It's like all that. But I like it because you can see how many movies you watched this year. It's good for like, my memory's not the best all the time. So I'm like, oh yeah, I watched that piece of shit movie or whatever. Right?
I don't even want to think about how many movies I've watched this year alone.
I've seen
Yeah.
I'm at 340 as of Resident Evil.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, not including the commentary watch.
And you're like you kind of going back through your memory, marking down all the movies that you remember watching.
This I have
just this year?
I have done. Oh, I've watched 340 this year. But when I first got it, me and my roommate were really into it, and we actually like kind of collectively sat and like we're like, let's log fucking everything we've ever seen.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Man.
Letterbox?
Letterboxd with a D. So just
Letterboxd.
one D, and there's no not ED but D.
Letterbox.
Letterboxd.
It's great. It's getting really.
CD?
Yeah, I think so. It's getting very popular. I'd recommend. Brought to you by Letterboxd.
Brought to you by Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Letterboxd, sponsor us.
I love the tracking stuff. You know, like I use
Yeah.
like this website, Last.fm, tracks all the music I listen to. I track all the movies I watch.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anytime I hear a new album, I write it down.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I like finding new music.
That's like
been a
tracking
while.
the hours you play on a video game.
Yeah, that's scary.
I think I've logged like 350 hours of Animal Crossing.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
I thought I was bad with 20 hours of Final Fantasy VII in the last 2 weeks.
Oh man.
Well, it hasn't been 2 weeks.
You playing the new one?
Since like March.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so good.
It seems like it's really good. I'm looking forward to it.
They made the female characters sexy. Like it's crazy. Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I wonder what Tifa's gonna look like in the remake. Good God, ridiculous.
I was talking to my buddy about how sexy Final Fantasy is the other day. Actually,
It's ridiculous. Like there's points where I'm like, this is very sexual right now.
yeah,
Like,
they made a horny sequel to Final Fantasy X. Remember that? They were just like, yeah, let's make a fucking horny one. Yeah. X. They chose to do it with X too, which is kind of fun.
So we see the first monster because they set the bomb gets set off,
Yeah.
the EMP goes off, they
butt
shut down
licker.
the Red Queen. What's it called?
I called it butt liquor, but it's
Butt
just liquor. It's
Is that what they
literally
actually
called
call
a
it?
liquor
Wow.
because of its
Oh,
stupid ass
so
That's
tongue.
okay. In the commentary, when they said liquor, I thought they were referring to booze.
Oh.
No,
I'm like, yeah,
The
they are
liquor.
drunk.
He is
No, it's the
liquor.
fucking AVP looking.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
It looked like-
completely horribly.
It looked like Reptile from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this looks cheesy. And that was 95. So we see that, and I just wrote down great CGI.
Yeah.
Terrible. And like the dogs are on the loose now because they show the empty cages. Like, of course the dogs
the
are.
skinless dogs.
The dogs were the thing that scared the hell out of me the most in the original game because there's a scene because the way the game was when you walked into a room you would get one view. That was it. You couldn't turn the camera like you can in games now.
Fixed camera. right?
Fixed camera.
Yeah.
So you're right here. The door you have to go to is over there. So you just start walking.
See, it's on rails, right?
Pardon me.
On rails, sort of, right? That's what they call it, or I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it was just one angle.
Yeah, okay.
And would sometimes change depending on where you were in the room. But I remember in the first 30 minutes of the game, you're walking through this hallway and all of a sudden, these dogs jump through the windows in that room. I'm like 14 years old, screaming in my parents' basement, like, run! It was the kind of game where it got your heart
Yeah, and then you're
pumping.
like button mashing, like go, 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 trying to make yourself go faster.
It was so creepy. And then, like, you see these dogs in the movie, you're like, ah.
Yeah, they're Dobermans with like meat sauce and meat, and they
I thought
kept,
they were scary. I thought they succeeded. I wrote down the dogs are pretty good.
apparently they
They
had a
were
hard
neat.
time controlling them because they covered them in like meat and stuff to get that
They actually
skinless
did
look.
do that, eh?
And they kept like eating it off themselves, and you're like, damn it!
That's funny.
These dogs are delicious.
Yeah.
So this is where Alice confronts these dogs. And I got a real kick out of how these dogs are murderous. They're murderous.
A real kick out of it.
They're murderous animals. But they're like waiting patiently for
Yeah.
it. So there's like 6 of them and they're like, oh, hello.
Waiting for
Now
the
let's get her.
alpha to be like, do it.
And then like because there's one chasing her first and she like runs into a room and it jumps in there and then she gets out and locks it up and it's like she's like, oh, so relieved. She turns around. and
Why
like,
were there
oh,
dogs there?
testing, I guess. Oh, because they're
Which
testing
is-
on animals at one point.
Right,
They
there
showed.
you go. Okay. I
They were
was just
shooting
like,
up
why the
bunnies and
fuck?
stuff.
That's why everyone deserves
Those
to
were
die.
real bunnies that they did that to. Apparently,
What?
they said that in the commentary. Yeah, real bunnies.
Wow.
And then I think Paul literally just went.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that out. They never did.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
So she kills these dogs. She nails each one with like one shot.
Yeah.
Empties the clip perfectly into all of them. I wrote down Alice kills Matt's sister Lisa. Then he tells the whole story.
Yeah, because she
Right.
starts getting memories of her talking to Lisa about the plan and everything, and then Lisa's dead
But where like Lisa came? Did Lisa come back as a zombie at one point?
later on. Yeah,
Okay, then Alice killed her. Mm-hmm. And that's
Who's
right because
Lisa?
then she was the
blonde
one of
floaty.
the scientists. Yeah. Oh, she was floating in the water.
Oh yeah. She comes up behind the guy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Alice
a
kills
name?
her. Yeah.
right.
Because Matt's like, that's my sister, Lisa.
Was she the one going fire, fire at the beginning of the movie?
I don't think so.
I thought I was hoping.
Might have been. I'm not sure. now.
Maybe.
I don't want to go recheck.
Okay, yeah.
I'll edit it in right here though if it is.
Yeah.
Put them side by side so we'll be like yes or no. And this is where Alice is like, oh, it was me that I was your sister's contact. And she tells him the whole story. I just love how there's like 3 separate scenes where it's like, and now we're going to tell you everything about the story.
Yep.
And then we're going to continue.
And it's in this awesome 2002 slowed frame rate, like flashback, washed out.
And in a 3D map or two.
Oh, it's so good,
just to
man.
let us know where everybody is.
Hey there, buddy. That edible you ate a little while ago is starting to hit you. You're listening to Real Garbage.
The dumb thing about those 3D maps was like, we don't know the layout of the hive.
I know. Like, why are you showing us?
You're just
The sequels,
showing the
though,
hive.
It becomes important in the sequels.
Oh, okay.
The sequence of the hive is important in the sequels. Yeah.
Because does the second one take place in the
second
hive
one?
again?
The second one is the worst.
Do they just continue immediately after the end of the other movies?
I
does
think
it
the
start
second
off
one
with her
kind
in
of.
the street with a shotgun.
The second one doesn't, but I think the third one does. Weirdly, I don't remember very well. I just remember they're all in different environments, and she kicks more and more ass each movie.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I tried to watch the final chapter. I got
Yeah.
5 minutes in, and she's like jumping in the air, spinning, shooting sideways, 4 guns in her hands. I'm like, what is this stupid nonsense? Because there was a
Might
point
be the best one.
where she fought the first dog, and she like runs towards the wall. She's like, boom, and
Yeah.
she jumps up and like spins around,
Roundhouses it.
kicks the dog in the face. And like, how? That's physically
Yeah,
impossible.
I remember too. It's like you didn't kick any ass until now, and then all the sequels flashed in front of
Yeah.
me like her memories, and I was like, oh yeah, she kicks a lot of ass.
Apparently, in this movie, all of the like cuts and scrapes and bruises on her body are 100% real.
Yeah, she does all her own stunts.
except for the pipe one.
Except the pipe. Yeah. Because the
He-
wires.
Yeah, he was her like PR person was worried that she'd accidentally hang herself
hang
with all the
herself
wires.
on the wires. Yeah.
Jesus. She did everything else though.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So she roundhoused that dog. No.
CGI dog.
yeah.
We
Was
really
actually,
kicked the dog.
actually a rabbit. They're just chucking
Oh
rabbits
my
at her.
god.
We've already shot this one up. He's gonna die
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So they fire the Red Queen back up. They're like, we got to get her back up and figure out what's going on. So
Yeah.
they fire her back up, and she gives another whole exposition story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, like I can't remember what the story was. I just wrote down the whole story.
She's like, I can't believe you shut me
yes.
down. I can't believe you've done this.
and this is where she explains the T virus. That's right. And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we're testing them on humans, and they have a need to
Yeah.
feed.
I got the need. The need.
Okay, can I want to spoil.
The
Can I spoil the
need to
rest of the movies?
feed.
Yeah.
I can spoil the rest of the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
listeners, if you care, here's
Turn
a
it
moment.
off.
Okay, the Red Queen, and I might be remembering this wrong, is Alice.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah,
What?
it's her dad is like the original Umbrella Corp guy, and he was trying to do a good thing, and it got compromised, and he backed up his daughter because he thought she might die in the future into this, like some shit like that. Yeah, but I also might be wrong. No, she is. Yeah, the
You're
Red
just
Queen
doing-
is
You're
Alice.
just doing this so now we have to watch the rest of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You son of a
They get
bitch.
better. They get better just in terms of like aesthetic. Like they really just like they get probably a little bit more money and they just more ass kicking.
We'll do more.
I don't know
We'll
how
do
they
them.
got more money.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Milla Jovovich is rich, and she's married to the director, and
True.
she's probably financing it all.
I have a feeling
She's got
that
that
also
Maybelline money.
that maybe this. I feel like directors like this guy might have to do with budget, where it's like, okay, you're giving me this budget, I can work with that, make this movie, and the movie will make enough money where it'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the budget after and see if they broke even or made a
$40
little bit. It's
million
like,
dollar budget, I want to say, and I think
What?
it made $70 million.
yeah,
$40
so
million
right there. If it's making
didn't
30,
go to the effects.
if it's making $30 million, then they're like, let's make more.
Yeah.
Even if they suck, let's make more.
Yeah.
So this is they again they're journeying through this place. They're going through a tunnel and they run into more zombies. And this is where I noticed that a lot of the zombies were like the extras were really into it,
Yeah.
or they did not care.
Yeah.
Because there were zombies that were
That's in the commentary too.
And
There were
other ones
specific
that were
extras.
just
They're
like,
like, this guy was so into it. Yeah.
just giving her. It was like, this is my one shot,
And
my
it-
one big chance.
Apparently they hired dancers to play all the zombies.
Wow.
Because
that's
they
why look
wanted
so gracefully.
Which that's what I don't understand. Zombies aren't graceful. They're reanimated corpses. They're not going to be like pirouetting around.
zombies spinning down the
yeah.
hallway.
Fuck. They're going to be clumsy.
We did a play once in acting school, and we all had to take turns playing zombies because it was about a zombie apocalypse. And walking like a zombie, all like crumpled up and limping and shit after a week of that, good God, my back was killing
We
me.
need a Cairo.
Were you in Thriller?
I can't. It was 10 Ways to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was fun. It was cool. It was like a 45-minute long play, I think. 10 parts.
It's probably better than Resident Evil.
It was, dude. I would watch it 4 times in a row right now.
Yeah.
And never have to
But
watch
it
it.
doesn't have Milla Jovovich. This movie, I wrote down that and maybe this is like slightly off topic. I wrote down that this movie is like one of the best examples of the male gaze.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the movie is so focused on her being hot. You're like, and the way it's directed, like the way that her eyes are in the movie. I'm like, this is for teenage boys to be like, fuck.
Oh yeah. Well, it's gamers, right? They're like, oh man, I played this, and now Milla Jovovich is in the movie game. I don't even care if it sucks or not. Look at her.
This is a big like, pre easily accessible internet porn teenage boy jerk off movie. Big time.
Have either of you seen the movie The Perfect Getaway?
No.
That is a horror thriller with Milla Jovovich and oh my God. Okay, the only two movies I can think of this guy being in is Daddy Daycare, but not Eddie Murphy and not the fat guy. The Quiet, Awkward Friend. He was in that. And he was also in Sahara with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, damn. I saw that movie.
The side guy. So he's in there and he plays Milla Jovovich's wife.
Is it
husband?
Steve Zahn?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in
Saving Silverman. Yeah.
Coming at you! Ha! Yeah! Coming at you! Ha!
Yeah. That's a bad
favorite line of that whole movie.
That's a bad movie though, also.
It's not good.
But it's like, it's so watchable.
Yeah, him and Milla Jovovich are in that, and also Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I think I did see that movie now that you say it.
And,
it was like
and Timothy Olyphant.
Lost-esque.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a really hot
The Perfect Getaway.
Southern actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, Kaplan is going to shoot himself because he's got one bullet left because we're slowly getting names as we go along. And he's like, and he eventually just shoots one and he's like, you're going to have to work for your dinner. And then does he live or does he die?
So they leave him behind because he's like, go, because he gets bitten on the leg and they leave him in the pipes. And he's this like sacrificial lamb and they go on without him. Meanwhile, Rain has still not succumbed to her injuries. And now she's also been bitten on the neck because reanimated JD comes along and bites her on the neck. And she's still chilling. She's still fine.
She's tough.
Yeah.
Tough as Rain.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's Michelle Rodriguez. But
we get
still.
Another flashback. I wrote down flashback time, big reveal by Alice, because this is when we find out.
The antivirus.
That's right. And then we know that Spence did it, her husband.
Yeah.
He did it. So we see him in all the shots from the beginning of the movie.
That little fucker.
And he makes the classic bad guy mistake of talking too long.
Yeah, you
and he
idiot.
gets attacked from behind. Because he has him at gunpoint, and he's like, oh, I almost got out of here. I was on the train, and I had the antivirus, and that's where it is right now. You guys were right next to it.
So the antivirus was on the train the whole time?
Yeah, it was with Spence, because remember they opened that door, and he fell out?
He left, yeah, right.
And they didn't check the case that he had with them. They weren't like, oh,
Did they
what's in
leave
this
the case on the train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was all for nothing.
All for nothing. So it's like they all, I guess they went in to blow it up. They went in to blow it up.
Because I did write down, I'm like, this would have been a better first 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Is them going through the hive, like all of that in 20 minutes. And then the movie, everyone dies or whatever. And then it ends the way, the movie starts the way it ends. It'd be a better movie.
Yeah.
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 Would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seemed like
It's like, why put us through all that? You
I know.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. This is all pointless.
Dude, you could open the movie with the fucking lasers.
Yeah.
Like, you could get there quick and then it just goes Resident Evil there or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hollywood, listen.
This is where we get the reptile attack monster. Because,
The liquor attack.
Spence, the liquor.
The liquor.
Spence makes it to the train. He's about to shoot himself up with the.
And then the liquor gets him.
The liquor gets him. And it's like, and this is where the Red Queen's like, oh, when she gets human DNA, it mutates. And then the thing starts getting bigger. And you're like,
yeah,
oh,
and it's
that's
like
odd.
brain is all. It's so weird.
It's
and
so
then
gross.
freaking the Red Queen says, I've been a bad, bad girl.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Why? I hate it.
That's where the really twisted teenagers are like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them make it to the train and they get there. So they shoot up Rodriguez with the antivirus, and they also give one to Matt.
Yeah, I
Is it
think
Matt?
that's
Matt gets one too.
Yeah.
And Jovovich doesn't give herself one. No, I don't think she does. I just wrote, of course, the monster catches up.
Yeah,
they
of
kill.
course.
They kill it. It somehow bursts into flames because it's getting dragged on the ground for some reason. And then my burning question was like, if the hive was going to lock itself down, why bother sending the team in? What was the point?
I know.
And I know I brought that up earlier, but I realized that it's because they wanted to set that EMP off. But it seemed,
The sequels are all coming back to me now.
whoever made this
It gets
hive,
crazier,
whoever
dude.
made this stupid hive wasn't thinking like, hey, how are we going to shut this thing down if we need to? Like, why not just have a big ass cylinder right in the middle of it that you can just drop a bomb into and set it off when it hits the bottom? Boom. You don't have to set a team of people in or anything. Just
Yeah.
You got to watch the sequels.
So then we get a Jason Isaacs cameo, and he's a doctor. And she's on this gurney naked again. I feel like that's in her contract because in Fifth Element,
I think that she actually says something about that too, where she's like, I want to be naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she's hooked up even here to all these tubes, and she's like freaking out and screaming and pulling them out. And then like that's
it.
That's it.
Right before that too, they grab Matt because the doctors show up.
Right.
And they're like, oh, take him to the Nemesis program. I'm like, oh, okay. Because like Resident Evil 3 was called Nemesis.
Yeah.
It was like the great big scary mute. That was a spooky game. That one actually made your heart pump because it was like that thing was chasing you through the entire game. It was creepy.
See, that's why I haven't played very much of oh God, what's it called? The Alien game.
Oh, that's Alien Isolation?
Yes,
It's
I'm
good.
so.
I've heard it.
I
It's
have
really
it.
good.
I have it for. I bought it for my Switch, and I thought that would be way better than playing it on my PC. But now I regret buying it on the Switch because it's so close
No.
to your face,
Yeah.
and it's so immersed.
I played it with headphones on, and it's so
Ooh.
well done. Like there's that thing because you never know where the alien is.
Yeah.
And it'll just come out of nowhere sometimes. Like you'd be like opening up a grate, like you're like in a tunnel, and it's like the thing opens. You're like, okay, it sounds pretty quiet. You go to step out, and it's like, and it like just rips
Yeah,
you
and
out
then
of the
you're
tunnel. You're like,
dead.
ah, crap.
You're like, I hope I saved.
Did we miss anything?
No.
I don't
that's pretty
think
much
so.
it.
Yeah.
So,
The ending, the real end, because the ending reveals that the whole world's been infected.
oh yeah. She
Yeah.
walks outside.
With a
grabs shotgun
shotgun.
out of she puts on a robe, grabs a shotgun out of a
That's
cop
the
car,
best shot in
and
the
walks.
movie.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
that's hype. I'm like, oh, because like I'm like, I remember I wrote down, I'm like, okay, I'm now engaged in the movie, and it's over.
Yeah.
that's what Raccoon City is supposed to be. That's what
Yeah.
that's what the story of Raccoon City is. It looks like that.
Yeah. But Kate, when you saw that, when you two watched that in there, did you go, I want to see what happens next?
Kind of.
Yeah. A bit.
I hate
yeah.
that. Kind of. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll bring
They
you back
s-
for the next.
yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Bring you back for
The
the
second
next
one is
5.
not very good, though.
My.
Yay.
Whoa! Really? Is
Yeah.
it better than this one?
No.
Oh,
Oh.
good God.
This one's better. This is the second best,
That's
if not the third best.
What?
I'll have to watch them again. I watched them
Oh.
all. It was in a bad place when I was really enjoying these movies. So just like, yeah, I was just drinking and being like, this is my movie.
you watch them sober, you're like, oh God. I was watching this sober last night. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that was Resident Evil, everybody. I'm gonna give that. I give it a real rating of 2 poorly constructed redheaded British stepchild holograms.
Whoa. Whoa.
Out of 10 Umbrella Corporation arranged marriages.
Whoa.
Because there was like, it had no redeeming qualities for me. Milla Jovovich was easy on the eyes. And the music, as crazy and over the top as it was listenable. And it had potential. Like,
Yeah.
I think they should have just kept to the story of the first Resident Evil game and made it that. The story, revolve it around the mansion, make it
Yeah.
spooky and scary.
The settings are good in the movie. They are, in my opinion.
You think so? Like the Hive?
Okay, once they get to the about 45-minute mark, it gets really boring, the settings. But up until then,
it's repetitive.
good. Yeah.
It's repetitive. Like you're in the same place. It's like Doom.
it is like Doom.
It was like I thought of that halfway through. I was like, this is just like Doom.
I remember jumping on pipes in Doom too. I was like, or in Doom 3, yeah, yeah. The one on Mars. They're all on Mars, aren't they? I don't know.
No, I can't. It was Mars in the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal, I don't know where it is. It's on some sort of weird planet.
Yeah.
I just played it for a couple minutes to try it out. I'm going to get into it later.
I gave this 2 butt liquor monsters out of 10 Umbrella Corporation bullets.
Oh.
Because I was disappointed except for the fact that it had Milla Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez.
I didn't even know Rodriguez was in there until she pulled off her mask and was like, what'd she say?
She was like, look at my balls.
Yeah, it was like, eat my dick. Or suck my dick or something.
Yeah.
Blow me.
Would you rate it?
I would rate this movie 6.5.
Oh.
6.5. Actor, director, power couples
Ooh.
out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But my rating is skewed simply because I have a fondness for this time period of movies. They don't make movies like this anymore.
No, they do not.
Yeah,
No.
and maybe they shouldn't, but I'm glad that it happened and that maybe we're done with it, you know?
Yeah. You're glad to have experienced
I think
it.
they'll make a comeback at some point.
I hope
Probably.
so.
Would you like to plug your podcast?
Yeah, listen to my podcast. It's called JP versus the World. I know it's a goofy title. I also have a radio show for locals called Outside the Box. It's on Mondays at 4 p.m. on CFUV 101.9. Experimental music mostly, and sometimes I use the podcast on the radio show.
Is that UVic Radio?
UVic Radio.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I make music, but that doesn't matter. Don't listen to my music. Listen to the podcast. Listen to the radio show.
Bam.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, JP, thanks for coming down here.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, this was awesome. Yeah.
We'll get you back for the next 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
As usual, find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Real Garbage. Follow
Spotify.
us, subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Podbean.
Google Play, Podbean, everywhere you get your podcasts.
Yes.
You got it on Stitcher?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think people like that one. I don't
It's
know.
everywhere.
It's got an
everywhere.
aesthetic.
It's everywhere.
What do you use to host it?
Podbean.
Podbean. Okay. Cool.
And then that just takes it
Yeah.
out to everywhere.
Cool.
We're putting them directly on YouTube. Then I realized it was doing audio episodes of YouTube. And I'm like, this is too much pain in the ass. So I
Yeah.
deleted all those and stopped that automatic link because it was just too much.
Yeah.
Too much content. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me. This
Thanks
was
for
sick.
coming.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Real garbage.